Brilliance Audio presents Betrayal by Christina Dodd, performed by Christine Vam. For Penelope Alonso Caldwell, the distance between Portland, Oregon and Bella Terra, California was 500 miles and 9 years. She hadn't expected to remember the way. As she and her mother left Bella Terra, Penelope had been crying so hard. Her eyes had been swollen. Every breath had hurt. Her 18-year-old self had thought she would die of agony. But she must have soaked it all in. The scent of pine, the asphalt slashed by sun and shadow, the sudden descent into the valley, where grapevines stretched in unending rows, where boutique wineries nestled in groves of trees, where here and there an old-fashioned farmhouse sat sometimes ramshackle and abandoned, and sometimes it was tended lovingly by the descendants of the very family that had built it. The highway plunged from the mountains to the flats created by the wanderings of the Bella River and took a turn to the south. Then she knew she was close to her destination. She knew by the strength of the sunshine against her knuckles on the steering wheel, by the breeze against the arm she rested through the car's open window, by the intoxicating sense of sunshine on fresh-turned earth, of ripening peaches and wine-scented oak barrels. Here in Bella Terra, spring hung on the cusp of summer and the air smelled like broad green leaves, like freshly mown grass, like breathless first love and young hope dashed. What a fool she'd been. So why did this place smell like home? It did not, could not. She would not let it. Penelope had been raised in Los Angeles and Portland, and she'd lived most of her adult life in Cincinnati. Hot pavement defined the smell of home, so she concentrated on the odor of asphalt baking beneath the California sun and watched for her destination. She'd been afraid she wouldn't recognize the Sweet Dreams Hotel, but there it was on the right, 25 rooms of ramshackle inn glowing with the same violent turquoise paint that had graced it 9 years ago. She turned into the parking lot and noted the changes. The doors had been replaced. A new sign pointed the way to the office. The trim had been changed from vibrant peach to staid white, as if that change made any difference to the overall tackiness of the place. The Beaver Inn was next door, a rough-and-tumble bar that used to be the hangout for the farm workers in the valley, a place where fights were a nightly occurrence and everyone carried knives. Nothing about it said the bar was anything different today. A variety of fluorescent beer signs blinked in the windows. The smudged door had a high diamond-shaped window, and a flatbed truck was pulled into the shade with the hood open and 2 guys armed with wrenches staring disgustedly into the engine compartment. Right now, with her finances iffy, she could afford this place. She parked her mother's aging yellow Volvo C70 in front of the motel office and walked in. A large man with massive shoulders and no neck sat reading something on an e-reader. He looked like a football player. He looked like a familiar football player. She delved into the depths of her memory for his name, Primo Marino. When she'd lived here, he'd been the town's pride and joy, a running back for UCLA, and one of the NFL's most dazzling candidates for the draft. Apparently, his bright career had ended here, working behind the counter at his family's dilapidated motor inn. She wondered what had happened to dash his bright future, but mostly she hoped he didn't remember her. From the bored way he surveyed her, she would guess he didn't. "I'd like a room for a week," she said. "A week?" He looked her up and down, then glanced around the worn office and raised his eyebrows.